and welcome to the Palak Mehta Show. In the last episode, we spoke to Swami Chidananda Puri, but we never really got to know our guest so much. He spoke about Dharma, Adharma, the principles of Sanatana Dharma, the difference between Avdutas, Rishis, Munis. But in this episode, we will meet our guest. We ask him about his lineage, about his thoughts on the current political scenario, the modern day India, and some of the gaps that we're facing today. Swamiji, I'm so honored to have you on our show again. Welcome.
This is a very good initiative. I also love to be here with you because in the present day world, we have to penetrate into the society with the real wisdom of our Rishis. And the urgent need of the day is to make a total paradigm shift in the attitude of our society. We have to make an awareness which is pro-Bharat, with real knowledge of our great culture and its basis. So your move is best indeed. So I also like to be with you in this show because it is intended to make a positive outlook in our society.
Our last interview with Swami Chidananda Puri has impacted people young and old so positively. It's left all of us wanting to know more about him. So with his permission, I asked him about his guru and his lineage. This is what he said.
About lineage, we are in the Shankara Parampara. This is an order of Sanyasins established by Bhagavan Bhashyakara, Shankaracharya. And this parampara is well known by the name Dashanamis. When Shankaracharya established 4 months in different parts of Bharat to revive our Dharma, he allocated different names to different mutts, and the name Puri comes under Sringeri Mutt. Even though the name Puri comes under Sringeri Mutt, personally, I am not initiated from Sringeri Mutt. See, Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankaracharya established 4 months, and in later periods, so many acharyas travelled here and there and established many ashrams and mutts. And of course, many were wandering monks also. And when one accepts sannyasa from a guru, as a practice and as per the tradition, the name of that guru, it automatically comes to Shishya also, disciple also. So for me, I accepted Sannyasa Diksha from Kailasashrama Rishikesh. It was in the year 1989. And I accepted Sannyasa Diksha from Param Pujya Brahmalin Swamiji Vidyananda Giriji Maharaj, was the 10th Mahamandaleshwar of Kailasa Ashrama. But I took sannyasa in the name of my Shiksha Guru, Param Pujya Brahmalin Vimalananda Puri Maharaj. Swamiji mostly lived in Gujarat. There is a Madhavananda Ashram in Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is a city some 25-30 kilometers from Ahmedabad, and there is Madhavananda Ashram. It was the place where my Guru lived, and in Swamiji's name I took Sannyasa Diksha. That is why I got the name Puri, Swami Chidananda Puri. That is about my Guru. And of course, Puri comes under Shankara Parampara, Adi Shankaracharya. And after establishing 4 mutts, Shankaracharya wrote the legislation for all these mutts. And that is called Madhamnaya. Amnaya means rule or regulation or legislation. So Madhamnaya means rules for the management of or administration of mutts. And in this Madhamnaya, there are 4 parts. Each one is for 1 mutt. And of course, as per that, there is Purvamnaya. Purvamnaya is connected with Govardhan Mutt of Puri. Then there is Dakshinamnaya. Dakshinamnaya is connected with Sringeri Mutt. And Paschimamnaya, that is Dwaraka Mutt. And Uttaramnaya, Jyodhar Mutt. And before entering into the details, let us just see the greatness of the ways in which Bhagavan Bhashyakara did his great works. You just take a map of Bharat and you point the places where these 4 mutts are established. And you draw 2 straight lines that is connecting Dwaraka and Jyodhar Mutt, that is south and north, and Sringeri and Jyodhar Mutt, and Dwaraka and Puri, that is west and east. And we will see the angle between the 2 intercepting lines are 90 degrees. What a wonder this is. In that age, when there were no amenities, transportation facilities were not there, and people were using bullock carts and horses, or walking on foot. In that age, Bhagavan Bhashyakara established mutts, and then after seeing the angle 90 degree, you make the distance from the center of the two lines to one mutt as the radius and draw 4 circles. The center of the circle must be the place of the mutt. Then what we will get? We will get the whole area which represents the epic Bharat. That is Akhanda Bharat. So a student will sit wonderstruck seeing this. How in that age, at that age, how Shankaracharya did all this. And as per Mathamnaya, 4 Vedas were given to each mutt, and different names for brahmacharis were given, and of course different names for Sanyasis. When we say different names for Sanyasis, we must not confuse it as the name, but it is a suffix added to the name. And for Sringeri Mutt, there are 3 names. That is Puri, Saraswati, and Bharati. Basically, there is no difference at all. All these are sannyasis. There is no difference between Puri and Saraswati. There is no difference between Puri and Giri. Of course, Giri belongs to Jyotirmat. But there is no difference. Just to distinguish, these names were given. And there are 10 names, and all these 10 names are again classified under 4 sampradayas. For example, all the 3 names connected with Sringeri Mutt, they are coming under Bhurivara Sampradaya. In the same way, there are other sampradayas also, but the sampradaya of Sringeri Mutt is Bhurivara. So Puri is under Bhurivara Sampradaya. And the Veda allocated for Sringeri Mutt is Yajurveda. So basically, Sringeri Mutt was entrusted with the duty of spreading the message of Yajurveda. But we must understand, in course of time, huge change came in all this. Nowadays, even though Sringeri Mutt is connected with Yajurveda, they are not spreading Yajurveda alone. We are not spreading Yajurveda alone. We are spreading the whole Veda, and especially Vedanta. we are not restricting ourselves to Yajurveda. All Vedas, Rik, Yaju, Sama and Atharva, and the branches thereto, and Itihasas, Puranas and other Dharma shastras, and many texts of Vedanta. Sannyasins are spreading all this, irrespective of the mutt to which they belong. Because the message of all Vedas is one and the same. The essence of all Upanishads, that is one and the same. There is no difference at all. So in the present day world, sannyasins who are working in the society for upholding our Dharma, to spread the tenets of Vedanta, they are teaching all Vedanta texts, all Vedantic aspects without any differentiation. So because of that teaching, our Dharma is being revived. And of course, along with that work of sannyasins, many scholars who are brahmacharis, who are householders, all are working together to fulfill one great goal, and that is the establishment of Sanatana Dharma and spreading the message of Veda. So practically, we are not at all seeing any differences in the lineage and all. We are considering everybody as one and the same. And let me add one thing more. Even though we are in the Shankara Parampara, we are respecting and we are working together with all other sannyasins and all others who are spreading the message of Veda. Whether they are Dvaitins, whether they are Advaitins, whether they are Vishishtadvaitins, we are not at all making any difference nowadays, because all this comes under the shade of that great Kalpataru, which is Veda.
Hari
Like most people, until recently, even I thought that Hinduism is a religion, till I found out that Hinduism does not exist. There are no Hindus. I asked Swamiji on his thoughts on the same. His answer was filled with insight, as usual.
I am considering myself as a Hindu. Then comes the question, Swami, how you are saying so? Because the word Hindu is not there in Vedas. The word Hindu never comes in Vedas. And Veda is the very base of Sanatana Dharma. Then how we can call ourselves as Hindus? We must understand that by the term Hindu or Hinduism, no religion is meant. It is not a religion in the limited sense. Let me repeat again. It is not a religion in the limited sense of the term religion. Then what is Hindu? Hinduism is a dharma, Hindu dharma. It is the same as Sanatana Dharma, or it is the same as Vaidika Dharma. We can call by all these names. In our shastras, especially in the very base of our shastras Veda, there is no such a term as Hindu. How the term came into existence, that also we do not know. We cannot say certainly this is the way how the term Hinduism came. We cannot say. There are two opinions. One is the land which is called Bharatavarsha, which is the land of Veda, which is the land from where the teachings of Dharma spread everywhere. This land, Bharatavarsha, this is a land in between Himalaya and Hindu Samudra. And the land in between, that is in between Himalaya and Hindu Samudra, is called Hindustanam. Taking the first letters of Himalaya, first letter from Himalaya and the last letter from Hindu, this land is called Hindustanam. And the people, their culture, their tradition, their style of life, or everything connected with them, they came to know as Hindu, the Hindu way of life, Hindu scriptures, Hindu style of living, Hindu Dharma. So Hindu came into existence. So, and there is another opinion. That is, those who came from outside of Bharata for trade and other purposes. They called those who are living in and around Sindhu river Hindus. That is the special type of Persian pronunciation. They pronounced Sindhu like Sindhu, and slowly it became Hindus. So such an opinion also is there. We do not know. We cannot say for certain how it came. But one thing is sure, by constant usage, the term Hindu and Hinduism is well established. It is well established. Whatever be the origin, whether it is there in the Shastra, and even if it is not there in the Shastra, it is there in the social psyche. It is well established that by the term Hindu, the Shastras, the style of living, the beliefs, the traditions, the mythology, the rituals, and everything connected with the Bharat is meant. So nowadays, by the term Hindu Dharma, the culture and tradition or the legacy of Bharat is meant. So it is accepted. Even though We cannot see such a term in our shastras. It is well accepted, it is established. So in the present day world, by the term Hindu, Sanatana Dharma is meant.
We had a vibrant temple culture which has been completely lost due to the British Raj. It was pure and purposeful. Mohanji has been saying that government bodies should not be managing Hindu temples. In fact, just like any other religious institution manages their own religious places, we should have the same thing for Hindu temples. I asked Swamiji the same. He said that this practice, in fact, is not in the spirit with our constitution. It's not in consistency with the spirit of our constitution. His views were very enlightening. Have a look.
This is a matter which requires the urgent attention of the whole society. Because here there is a reverse discrimination. There is a practice which is not at all consistent with the spirit of our constitution, which is against the basic principle of social life and the concept of democracy, which is social morality. That is, temples being controlled and administered by the government. This must go. This is against morality. This is against the basic concept of our constitution. This is against social justice. Why? Because we are living in a country, in a nation, where the constitution is based on secular concept. Our constitution is giving freedom to worship, freedom to manage religious institutions according to our faith, our belief. And it is rejected for only one group, that is Hindus. In our country, Christians are managing Christian institutions, churches and convents. It must be so. We are with them. It must be so. And Muslims are managing Muslim institutions, mosque, madrasas and all. It must be so. That is the justice. But temples, where there is wealth, when there are income, they are managed by government. How it is so? In one country, government is behaving with one religious group in one way and with another group in another way. Will there be justice? Can we call it justice? So this must go. Hindus must manage Hindu institutions. It is not the business of the government. So we must come together. There must be a united move to make the whole temple system free from the clutches of politicians and government. See, if there is secularism, if there is equal right, if there is equality before the law, how government, which is called secular government, can rule the institutions of one group, one religious denomination, on one religion? No, they cannot. So it must go. This problem has different aspects: social, economic, cultural, so many aspects. Take the economic aspect first. The wealth or monies that is collected through the medium of a church or a convent, that is managed by Christians. So they can establish schools, they can establish hospitals, they can establish convents. That is for the upliftment of a Christian community and Christian belief. They can make use of that money. In the same way, the wealth or money that is accrued through Islam organizations, the Islamic community, Muslim community can make use of it. They can start schools, colleges, orphanages, this, that, many things. Of course, it must be so. But as the Hindu institutions are government controlled, who is deciding? Can Hindus decide? No. It is the government or government bodies like Devaswam boards, they are deciding. So this is inequality, this is reverse discrimination, this is against the basic tenets of our constitution. So it must go. So whenever we speak this aspect, then politicians or government agencies will come and they will shout, no, 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 we are not at all taking any money, single money from temples. We are not at all taking a single paise from temple. On the contrary, we are giving grants to temples. If you look at the budget, state budget, you will see that. And if you are looking at the annual expenditure of government, then you will see that the governments are giving, state governments are giving to temples and devasams. We are not taking money. Then the first question comes, and that is, according to our constitution, as far as I am remembering, because now constitution is not with me, but as my memory allows, as per the Article 26 of our constitution, government cannot pressure any person, any citizen to pay tax to be utilized for the benefit of any religion. So, public money collected by way of tax collection cannot be utilized for the purpose of any religion. So how can government give money to Hindu temples? It is unconstitutional. So government must not give money to Hindu temples. But government is giving. Then we can understand a simple truth, that they are not doing an act of munificence. We have to go a little back to our past history. For example, Cochin and Travancore states came together and merged, and after that merger, United State of Travancore and Cochin came into existence. It was in 1949. That happened as per a covenant. Both the kings of Travancore state and Cochin state signed in that covenant, and of course, the government of India was also a party to that covenant, and in the presence of VP Menon, who was the advisor of the Ministry of States in the government of India, he also signed as a witness. And as per that covenant, it was specifically mentioned or written there that the government must give every year 51 lakh rupees to the temples of Travancore. One instance. Then, after the formation of Kerala state, in 1964, Land Reformation Act was passed. Kerala Land Reformation Act of 1964. So when that enactment came, temples in Kerala lost lakhs and lakhs of acres of land. Many lakhs of acres of land, agricultural land. Remember, this was the only income temples were having. So, as a compensation, in that act, there is a provision for annuity, and as per the rules made based on that act, it was specifically mentioned the annuity must be updated taking into consideration the price index from time to time. And the Honorable High Court of Kerala, in a case connected with the temple administration and management, asked the government, are you updating and giving the annuity? Calculate that. When calculated, it came to many crores of rupees every year. Then, in 1971, Kerala Private Forest Vesting and Assignment Act came into existence. As per that act, temples lost many acres of forest land, that too without any compensation. So in a case, the Honorable High Court asked in 1993, how many crores of rupees you are getting from this forest land? You must take account of that. And that much crores of rupees you must give to temples. So calculate all these things. Then every year, many crores of rupees has to be given to temples by the government. It is not a charity. It is an obligation. It is a liability. So don't mislead the society, speaking all sorts of nonsense. Another thing, crores and crores of rupees, funds, which belong to the Evasums, they are deposited in government treasuries. Of course, there are monies deposited in nationalized bank and in cooperative banks, especially cooperative banks of the those parties or controlled by those parties who are ruling the state. They are amassing this money, of course, as a deposit. But the cash flow, who is handling the cash flow? When Christian institutions are handling their cash flow, Muslim institutions are handling their cash flow, who is handling the cash flow of Devasam administered temples? So this must go. Government must take off their hands from temples. And we must understand how this government interference came. What was the starting point? That also we must understand. Then only we will realize the fact that temples are being administered by government not for the benefit of temples, but for the benefit of government. Christians and Muslims came forward and protested. No, we will not accept government control. So as a result of their protest, and see, in those days Hindus were in deep sleep. In those days Hindu organizations were not active. And Hindus were worshipping or emulating the style of British people. For them it was a great achievement to speak English and behave like Englishmen. It was the greatest achievement you can have. So Hindus kept mum. No protest, nothing. And Christian and Muslim groups protested. So what happened? Madras Religious and Charitable Endowment Act, it was repealed, and in that place Madras Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowment Act came. It was the beginning of a long story of injustice. So temples of Madras province, Karnataka, Andhra and some parts of Odisha all came in the control of British. But as it is a source of income, it remained and it is still remaining. So this must go. And we must realize or remember one thing, the Honorable Supreme Court in many occasions asked the government of India, asked the government of many states, why you are controlling the affairs of one religion? For example, in the case connected with the Chidambaram temple, in the case connected with the Gokarnam temple, in the case connected with the Jagannatha temple of Puri, the Honorable Supreme Court asked the same question to respective states, that is Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Odisha. Why you are controlling the affairs of one religion? Is it the business of the government? So this is an occasion, this is the time. We are asking not for any favor, we are asking only for common justice. So we must work hard in the society to make a public awareness. We must teach the society regarding the reverse discrimination. Government must completely depoliticize temple administration. That is the report, that is the advice given by the High Power Commission appointed by the Honorable Kerala High Court. But what is happening? What happened? Nothing. All Devasam boards are being filled with persons with political history or politicians. Politicians are ruling, not even believers. This must go. So justice must prevail. And this call we have to make in our society. We have to work together and make a common platform to get back justice established. So this is a main a topic which needs urgent attention from the whole society.
Priyam bharatam tat sada shlaghaniyam.
What a thought-provoking answer. You know, there comes a point in time in everyone's life when you aspire for something higher. I wish that when I was a child, I had access to all this information. But if the ownership rests with the government and not with the people who are practicing and breathing this wisdom every day, then there is a good chance that this knowledge does not reach the masses, or maybe it's lost. How is this secular and how is this progressive? First, the British Raj had access and ownership. Now it's the Indian government. It's definitely not secular, is it? Well, I leave you with this thought. And do share what you feel about this in the comment section below. I'll see you again next week. And I'm going to be talking to a very special guest on one of my favorite subjects called Sufism. Do subscribe to the Palak Mehta Show on YouTube if you haven't already.
Priyam bharatam tat sada vandaniyam.